Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. I'm MKT. Good to be back. We were free yesterday. Freedom Day, huh? Whole different animal. People in South Africa taking their time off. Who knows? To do whatever they do, you know. I don't know what people do. I've realized people do different things. This is what I'm learning. People do different things. I had a great day, personally. A great day. It was just like any other regular day. Yeah, and it felt good. Felt good. Feels good to be back, though. Even better to be back. Not alone. Listen, we got a guest today. If you're a gunner, you're going to want to stick around. We got Tade Osho. You may know him from AFTV. That's going to be fun. Plenty to talk about there. Really looking forward to that. The MKT Show, the 28th of April. 4 months into version 2 of the COVID monster. So congrats, you made it. You made it this far. You made it this far. We beat COVID. Congratulations if you're alive. If not, and you've lost people to COVID, I am so sorry. It is not ideal. But we're here now, and stadiums in America, by the way, Dana White, again, just, you know, making everyone furious. Just everyone furious. Packed. Jacksonville. Jam-packed. Jake Paul and everybody just spitting in each other's mouths. Spreading the Rona, if it's still out there. If not, if everyone in that arena doesn't die, hopefully that means we can get back to hugging each other and loving each other in restaurants and having bar fights again. You know, people miss that, I think. So yeah, good to have you. Good to have James Illingsley with me. James, what is happening, pal? How was your Freedom Day yesterday?
Good.
What did you do?
I went to lunch with some friends. Mm-hmm. And then outside of that, not an awful lot. Just played a bit of Xbox. And
what did you have for lunch?
We went to Spur.
Okay. What did you have? What's Spur? Because not everybody lives in South Africa.
Spur, it's like a family steakhouse kind of vibe. Nachos is what I had.
I had nachos, huh?
Good
all
stuff. Right. Spur nachos, pretty good stuff.
Good going, huh?
Good stuff.
Lots of kids there, lots of families. What's the story?
Absolutely.
What's
Monte
that like?
Casino was absolutely packed.
Goodness, you were in Monte Casino.
I was.
So you like that, huh? People are moving and grooving. It's nice. Society, people are back.
Yeah.
Huh?
People are out doing their things. Families are going to the movies were also really, really busy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess people watch movies.
Well, I just mean like with the whole pandemic thing, nobody went for a good while.
It's over now. Do you have to sit in the cinema with a mask on? How does it work?
I don't think so. No.
Wouldn't make sense. You get tested, sign up like a restaurant.
I think it's restaurant vibes where you like do the scan and then you go and you can take your mask off.
Which makes it slightly interesting because if I'm touching every Avo there is and we're bumping elbows at the shopping market, I need a mask.
Yes.
The movies.
Yes.
Jennifer Aniston or whoever's on screen. Don't worry about it. No COVID in here.
It's okay. COVID stops at the door of the cinema.
But why did you say I don't think so? Have you been in a movie in COVID?
No.
So you haven't been?
But I do have friends that go at least twice a month to
movies, huh?
To the cinemas, yeah.
And so have you asked them, hey, do you need a mask inside? So was that just pure speculation from you?
No. So from what they've told me, you actually don't need the mask in some cinemas.
Okay.
And then I've also heard that in some cinemas you do need the mask.
Oh, so some cinemas are COVID proof.
Yeah. It's like restaurants. You can get your temperature scanned, and once you're in the door, COVID's like.
Do you think it's like you know how they should do it?
Tell me.
What credit card are you carrying? Because obviously the different banks give you a different color credit card if you're in a certain tax bracket. If you're uber rich, just go and spit in babies' mouths. We don't care. But if you're poor like you and me, get the hell out.
Yeah.
Put a mask on. Put one of those, what do they call those? Like hazmat suits and the whole.
Actually, don't even bother coming.
Yeah.
Uber Eats your food at home. Stay at home.
We'll pay for the ticket. We'll send you like a bad copy of this movie.
Yeah, like a ripped version.
Yeah, what do you call it when people are
pirated?
Yeah, we'll send you a pirated copy, but pay for the full ticket.
But it's actually the pirated copy is the one where the guy's sitting in the cinema with his camcorder,
cell phone,
and recording
6210 infrared 6210.
And then you see little Johnny stand up halfway through the movie to go to the bathroom.
Crying baby. That's what they should do. Just keep. We're poor, They don't care about us. If you're rich, come on in, baby.
Yeah.
Your COVID's different from the rest.
Show me your black FNB executive banking card and come on through.
Is that what you need? The black card? Is that where you rich folks are?
I think a lot of banks, the black card is like
Oh, that's pimp game, hey?
it's the upper echelons.
Hey, that's where you want to be. Black card, drop it on the table.
Imagine.
Because we do live in that society.
We do.
Once they see the black card, that guy, he's important. Let me be friendly to him.
It's also in America they've started doing like metal cards. So when you like put it on a table, it makes the sound, and it's a card, like a bank card.
Big D energy. Big D energy. Hey,
There's bigger problems in the world.
Get rich. Get rich. That's the end of the statement.
Just get rich.
Yeah, get rich. everything you're chasing, love, fulfillment, companionship. Forget that nonsense. You can buy happiness. That's what people are telling me.
I've never seen someone crying in their Lamborghini.
Oh, that's because the windows are tinted.
Exactly.
Yeah. So even if you are crying in a Lamborghini, no problemo.
Exactly.
Get rich.
Windows tinted.
Get rich.
Also, you want to get to the level of being rich where you can actually start to wipe your tears with money. Yeah. That's the level of richness you want to be.
That is. Although those Australian dollars, they uber wrapped. I don't know if you've ever had an Australian dollar. Been to Australia, James?
I have.
That money cannot rip. Not the money to wipe your tears with.
What do you mean?
Because there's like a film over it. That's why you can't tear the money.
Yeah.
That film is just unbelievable.
Hectic.
So you can't actually wipe it. It'll make it worse. It's like, you ever seen a girl crying with makeup, or a guy? Guys wear makeup. You ever seen crying? And then what do you call it?
Like the thing we spoke about on.
Is it
on
eyeshadow?
Monday,
Or what's it called? What's the stuff they wear, man?
You're asking me like I know the
Well,
answer.
you're metrosexual, but anyway, whatever women wear on their eyes to make them pop. There is nothing worse.
Eyeliner. It's eyeliner.
Eyeliner.
There you go.
Yeah. Not sure if you've seen a girl crying.
Yes.
With eyeliner. Gets messy. That's what the Australian money would do.
It's like Kim Kardashian vibes in that conversation we had on Monday after the show.
I'm not judging Kim Kardashian. Oh, you said ugly crying.
Yeah.
That was the term.
Ugly crying is a thing.
I didn't know that was a real term.
It is a thing.
Ugly crying.
And I'm quite certain it stemmed from the whole like Kardashian.
Yeah. It doesn't get uglier than eyeliner. Everything's horrible. That's a bad image. Ladies out there, guys out there, if you're wearing makeup, Jared Leto, don't cry in public.
Wear that waterproof makeup.
Oh, is there waterproof makeup?
There is. Yeah.
So when you cry, then it doesn't run? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's what Jared Leto wears.
Probably.
Because he wears makeup.
Does he?
Yeah.
Why?
30 cents. Oh, it's Jared Leto. Do whatever you want.
Each to their own, right?
And again, get rich. If you're rich, we don't. Yeah, huh?
My goal is to get rich enough to actually wipe my tears with money. That's how rich I want to be one day.
Not Australian money though.
You know, American dollars, rands, cents.
All right. Maybe
what a time, huh?
Hey, you're poor. You're probably doing a lot of crying.
I am poor.
You work in media. This is not a land of the rich.
My team also really isn't that good.
Oh,
so
tough, huh? Tough. That was when Newcastle still. You're still going on that trauma.
Look, I'm trying to get over it, but it's taking me a while.
That's tough. Midweek, you're watching Chelsea, Man City, big clubs doing big things, and here you are at home probably playing Thursday night football next year. It's tough. Thiago Alcantara on a Thursday night.
Oof.
There's no way he's ever seen his life. He's probably booked.
Wow.
He's probably booked with his family, like movie night for his whole career. He thought Thursday, not me.
No.
Comes to Liverpool one season.
Lol.
Tough.
You've left your Champions League winning days behind.
That's playing. Forget winning. You're not playing in the Champions League next year. You're not in the Champions League. Winning, get out of here. Oh, that's tough for Thiago. By the way, his father, of course, very, very famous Brazilian World Cup winner, 94. So
is his dad Brazilian?
Oh, yeah. No, he's a very famous Brazilian. So he grew up in and around like people like Bebeto and Ronaldo, and these people were just at his house. Jorginho, these are people that were just Bedonga. These were people at his dad's house. So he's known greatness his whole life. One season at Liverpool. Get the hell out of here, pal.
Dad, what are we doing this weekend? Nah, just having a braai.
Yeah.
With the friends and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Dad? Well, look, Ronaldo's coming.
Yeah, Dunga's popping in.
Yeah.
Dunga. Wow.
Imagine.
Just a mate.
Huh?
That Brazilian team is just Cafu. Just pop in there. My old Maka, me old mate.
Oh.
Yeah, but now he's at Liverpool in the trash.
Hard times, huh?
In the trash. All right, big sports show. Good to be with you. Wednesday, 28th of April. We're going to talk Eden Hazard. That has not gone well. And if you're a Gunners fan, We'll talk about you possibly becoming a podcast. That's inevitable.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Sorry.
Spotify about to take over.
Oh,
Just convert that whole club to a podcast. MKT, yeah, remember, you can get the podcast. It is the MKT Show. You can get that on cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app. Otherwise, wherever you get your podcast. James, let's get into it.
let's
Let's
jump
get into
right
it.
in.
Today. You can cut that music for me, and we'll
Yes,
get into it.
sir.
All right. Eden Hazard played Chelsea last night. He came on, got about 20 minutes. And I think people are shocked that it's a nightmare. I thought we'd start here. Listen, everyone wants to get paid like the man, like the woman. Everybody says, oh, it must be nice. I hear young people saying, must be nice. I hear this all the time. Must be nice. Everyone wants to get paid like the man or the woman, right? Because everyone thinks that's the life you want. And it's easy. Once you're there, once I get paid, I'll get there and I'll do whatever the greats are doing. But then I hear from the very same young people, I want work-life balance. I've never known what that is. Both of my parents have killed themselves working. Right? My mother, 16 hours a day, still works 16 hours a day, claims she's retired. My father, not sure he sleeps. Right? So I hear work-life balance. I want to get paid like the man or the woman, but I want work-life balance. Folks, I'm sorry to tell you this, and I know this is crushing every single Instagram yoga advisor's tips here. There is no balance in greatness. There is no balance with Elon Musk. There is no balance with Matthew McConaughey. There is no balance. Greatness comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost. And here's what young people and today's generation, Eden Hazard is a part of this, need to hear. I don't care how talented you are. It's not enough to be talented. Greatness is boring. It's Groundhog Day. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. But young people don't like that because they can't express themselves. It's the old school. Talent isn't enough. Tell you what leads you to peace in life, folks, is you got to know who you are. Self-awareness is the only way to peace in life. If you're not self-aware, you will never have peace. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how great your husband, wife, next-door neighbor, family, mother and father are. If you're not self-aware about what you are, you need to know exactly what you are. You know, you're not going to 100% be perfect, but you got to be 80% aware of what makes you sad, what makes you happy, what type of people make you anxious, who are you trying to appease, right? All the time. You gotta have a handle. By 30, you gotta know who do I need to stay away from? Who plays into my ego? Who serves me best? Both people, situations, and you gotta put yourself in situations to not lose. It's tough to put yourself in situations to win all the time, but by 30, you figured out, hey, I lose in these situations. If I'm around these people, they appeal to my ego and I act a certain way. We've all had a girlfriend going, I don't like it when you hang around with so-and-so. What she's saying is you become a certain type of person. When the boys are around, she doesn't like to be around you. That's a real thing. You need to know that certain people trigger certain things in you. Folks, Eden Hazard is a generational talent. He is a generational talent. You don't have to like what I'm saying. It's true. The things he did at Chelsea, at Lille, generational. Insane. But this is what we do in life. And Chelsea, I do blame my beloved Chelsea for this. They let him get away with it for too long because we do this thing called production tolerance, right? If you're producing, we'll let you get away with anything. Eden Hazard would be pitching up overweight for many seasons at Chelsea. At the beginning of the season, everywhere he's been for the last 4 or 5 seasons, I'd look at Hazard and I'd go, is that guy powerful or is that Christmas pudding? He was always overweight at the beginning of the season. And he got away with it. And again, it's this new mindset of if I'm talented, they'll let me get away with it. It's the new mindset. The young kids, I work with young kids now, this is just what they think. They think they'll earn the respect just by pitching up. James went to AFTA. I've employed some AFTA kids, and I don't care what AFTA has to say. You produce self-entitled little kids that come into the working world and think they should get to work with Scorsese straight away. Sorry, doesn't work that way. And by the way, you also have no clue how the working world works. Your talent's not enough. Henry, Ronaldo, Messi, staying fit is a talent. But there's also the Groundhog Day. They pitched up every day. They were lean. It's why Henry could carry on till 33, 34, 35 and be at Red Bull. Eden Hazard's done in 2 seasons. He's had great seasons, but he got away with it. And this is why Leo Messi's 33, 34, producing 20 seasons, 20 goals, 20 assists. This is why Cristiano Ronaldo is still the apex predator at 35, because he never got away with it. He never cut corners. Eden Hazard's been cutting corners, and he got away with it. Work-life balance. Tell me you want to be great, but you want work-life balance. Sorry. And it's not Hazard's fault. It's never been his personality to be the poster boy. Messi, Ronaldo, they love it. They embrace it. You look at Ronaldo, he embraces it. Leo Messi, the captain's armband, he'll even fight the board at executive level. We've just seen him win that battle at Barcelona. They embrace it. Eden Hazard has never been about the spotlight. Nobody knows who his wife is. Nobody knows who his kids are. They're not all over his Instagram. He's never flashing abs. Not sure he has any, but he's never flashing that. So you can see his personality is family, and I like to play football. He's not maniacal. And I'm afraid when you're not maniacal, it's difficult to be great. What he is very, very good. He's very, very good, but he's not obsessed. It's not the first season he's been overweight. And it's been a disaster at Real Madrid because, you know, in life, what is the killer? Expectation. When I pay 150 million for you, I've told you this before. When I pay 150 million for you, I'm not paying for your talent. That's a given. I'm paying for you to set a tone in the dressing room. If you're a Man United fan, that's where Pogba failed. That's where Ronaldo wins. Everywhere Ronaldo's been, everyone's astonished at his work ethic. And if Cristiano Ronaldo's the first guy in the gym, I don't care who you are. There is no reason you aren't. Pavel Nedved, Henry, Ronaldo, Leo Messi, great. Why? They're the hardest working. Everyone's talented at that level. Eden Hazard started to smell himself, feel himself, but when you go to Real Madrid, by the way, we just had Cristiano Ronaldo. We've had Raul. And I'll tell you what happens with talented people in life, right? Is they always get away with it because everybody praises them. In high school, Eden Hazard was probably the best player, academy best player, Lille best player, Belgium best player. Wherever he's been the best. So he could do no wrong. But when you get to Real Madrid, you're just another guy. There's 2 or 3 in their history that matter, but you're just another guy. Sergio Ramos, Iker Casillas, who's a saint, literally Saint Iker. And it's tough for Eden Hazard because he didn't ask for this. But when you follow Ronaldo and we pay 150 million for you, we're paying for character. We're not paying for ability. The ability is a given. That's why 150, we've seen the ability. But subtly what we're saying is also, can you be the hardest worker and set the tone? Now, we won't say it, but, you know, there's a language in the corporate world. When we pay you the most, we expect the most. Eden Hazard, he thought talent was enough. It's not. To be great, you must be maniacal. And it's difficult for young people to hear. It was difficult for me to hear when I was younger. Work hard, pitch up on time. Yeah, I'll get there just on time. Don't worry about it. There's a reason you get these good habits. Cristiano Ronaldo is 35. He's better than anybody on planet Earth right now still. Leo Messi, 34 this year, better than anybody on Earth. Eden Hazard's done. And it was always going to be a disaster because he's not obsessed. What he is talented. And talent is not enough. Talent's not enough. Father Time comes for all of us, folks. Father Time comes for all of us. What Cristiano Ronaldo's done, LeBron James has done, Michael Jordan did, is that they devoted themselves. There was nothing but basketball to LeBron. There is nothing but football to Ronaldo. There is nothing but football to Messi. Eden Hazard, he's just another guy. And it was always going to be a disaster. It was always going to be a disaster. He didn't ask for this. He's not obsessed. He's been getting away with it for a long time. And he wants work-life balance. Sorry, not at Real Madrid, not if you want to be great. And I do love Eden Hazard. But what he is a baller, not a great. Sorry. He's not Ronaldo. I don't want to hear that comparison anymore. He's not. He's very much the European Neymar. He's the European Neymar. And it's tough to hear that because actually on paper he has produced for the last 6 seasons. But he's gotten away with it. And you know what expectation does? It just exposes where we've cut corners. Because now it's not special that you're good. Now you're expected to look a certain way. I mean, Frank Ribéry, if you remember the famous Florentino Perez line, why he didn't sign Frank Ribéry, he said, how am I supposed to sell shirts with that face? So you got to know what the expectation at Real Madrid is. You're not special at Real Madrid. You're just another dude. And I think that was tough for Hazard to learn. And then now the injuries are coming because he's overweight. And now it's piling another problem onto, oh, by the way, availability is the greatest ability, and we paid 150 mil for you. We know you're a good player, but why are you never here? And now it's a problem. And by the way, once the fans come back in Madrid, if you don't know, the socios put up the white handkerchiefs, and once those are out, there is no coming back. Once they put out the handkerchiefs, you're dead. Father Time comes for all of us. And I'm afraid Eden Hazard's finding out the hard way. Talent isn't enough. And it makes me sad because I've seen it before. Robinho, season and a half, started to smell himself. Went to Man City. Oh no, my talent's not enough. Ronaldinho only had 2 great seasons. A lot of people make out Ronaldinho like, he's Pavel Nedved, Kaká. Kaká had a decade of being the apex on planet Earth. Nedved, 15 years. Ronaldo, 15 years. That's greatness. They don't cut corners. Pavel Nedved, famously, always at practice on the bike 2 hours before training. And then he was training with that real Juventus team. Davids, Zidane, Thuram, Trezeguet, Bonucci. That was an unbelievable Juve team. And they all say, that's the guy. Eden Hazard, that's tough. Seen it before. Robinho, Ronaldinho. Talent's not enough, folks. Talent's not enough. And it's tough because there is no coming back now. He's already set the tone. People don't change. He's already set the tone. He's showing you what he is. And it's over. It's over. It's over. He's 30 now. This is what it is. He's never going to be in shape again. And once the injuries come, and they did at Chelsea, by the way, at the end, 2 massive ankle injuries. It's over. And I love Hazard, but don't cut corners in life. This is what happens. You cut corners, eventually Father Time will get you. What he is brilliant. He's not obsessed. Eden Hazard, huh?
Eden Hazard, huh?
Yeah, it's tough. Listen, it's hard, man. James, you've just come out of AFTA and you worked at a certain place. I'm pretty sure when you guys were at AFTA and you were told this is the Mecca of film schools and you come from here, they'll love you, will prepare you to go, and I don't know what sort of malarkey they tell you guys there. I'm pretty sure the working world was a bit of a shock to you when you came out.
Surprisingly not, actually. It is a shock to the system. But I also didn't buy into a lot of the stuff that was sort of marketed from AFTA and from how the industry works. How the industry works itself. So yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be a shock to the system moving into, the real world and grown-ups and stuff like that. But I think in a way I was kind of already ready for it. Because I didn't buy into what they would say. But I do see what you're saying with Hazard. I think his best days are behind him. I think a lot of people feel that way, and I don't think the move to Real was right.
Is it lack of self-awareness? Listen, how many times have you seen dreams turn to nightmares? Because he thinks he wants to be at Real Madrid. You see, everybody wants the CEO's job. You always hear, oh my word, those CEOs are overpaid. And then you get in the rooms with the types of people that are negotiating with CEOs. And there's sexual scandals in the company. And there's this. And so-and-so's mommy wants their son to get a promotion. And then the mommies come in to the bank or whatever it may be. And you're treating my son unfairly. And then there's a douchebag who's whatever with women. And the CEO has to deal with all of that. So everybody wants to get paid like the CEO, but they want to do middle management work.
That's the thing. Real Madrid is a lucrative move as a football player. It's Real Madrid.
Oh yeah.
You're not going to want to turn it down. But I think he also should have maybe looked at himself before he made that move and, maybe thought, I'm kind of getting on here. Am I going to be able to perform at a club like Real Madrid?
Also, what about his personality? Like Paul Pogba's perfect for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Right? They Galacticos. I think what happens is, and it happens to all of us, right? When we're young. And I blame his agent a little bit as well. I don't care if the dream's Real Madrid. I don't care if, obviously, Zidane, for those who don't know, is a big hero of his. Obviously, both Arabic dudes, representing that community, Zidane being what he is. I can imagine what the allure is. But you have to know what you are. If you just want work-life balance, don't work at HSBC. Just work at a smaller bank, 9 to 5, do your job, and be happy with your wife. Because when you get to HSBC, doing an 18-hour day of work is the standard. That's not like, oh, we're going to praise you and give you a bonus. Working 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, right? I have investment banker friends. Nobody praises you for that. So Eden Hazard his whole life at Chelsea. Oh, my God. You are. What? Don't even come to practice. Overweight, don't worry about it. Great to have you here. You get to Real Madrid, these things become a problem. And now, when he was injured at Chelsea, we let him get away with it. Right? These things, overweight. It's not the first time he's been overweight. At Chelsea, you overlook it. At Real Madrid, they don't overlook that because you're just another dude. Plus, we expect you to be on the preseason tour taking photos. Plus, we expect you after the season to stay and do the signings and be the pin-up boy. And you can't walk in town, by the way. You are not going to be able to move. He seems like a very private guy from everything I've kind of read and researched on him. That's a nightmare for somebody like that. But if you don't act accordingly, of course you're going to have a nightmare. And injuries, by the way, stress sometimes comes into it. He must be stressed to the hilt. Because there's Premier League pressure and there's Real Madrid pressure. Those are not the same thing.
Maybe there's something in the water at Real Madrid. Because didn't Higuain also pick up a...
No, Higuain was always a healthy lad. He was always on the precipice, even at Juve before, because he was at Real Madrid as a youngster and he was always healthy. So he's always had the issue. No, he rarely ballooned at Napoli.
Yes.
Yeah. That's when he went third trimester, full-on third trimester. Yeah.
Talking pregnancy vibes.
Yeah. So listen, Madrid's not for everyone.
Look.
And you have to know that about yourself. And it's hard. If you're young, if you're 24, 25 listening to this, right? I want to tell you right now, you have no clue who you are, number one. Everyone around you is trying to manipulate you. But as you get older, Hazard now, where's he going? And it's this thing where people try and be happier than happy. That's the issue in life, is he was happy at Chelsea. They loved him. What's another 100,000?
So two things. I've always maintained, okay, actually just to the one thing segues off your point actually. I always thought that Hazard should have ended his career at Chelsea. Should have been a proper cult hero. You were there for how many years? 12 years. Was it?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, 10 years, I think.
You were there for 10 years at Chelsea Football Club. Finish your career there. Yeah. Because I can tell you where it's going to go now. Okay. Real Madrid are probably already like, yeah, look, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
We're not ecstatic with A, your weight, and B, your performances. So we're actually just going to sell you. And he's going to end up going to the US or going to China or going to Lord knows where instead of finishing his career at a club like Chelsea Football Club as a legend. I don't know. I've always maintained at Real Madrid, you have to be in a specific time in your career to play for Real Madrid.
And be a specific type of person.
Yes.
You've got to be ready for everything, especially if you're that guy.
Sure.
Like, every now and then you get Raul, Iker Casillas, Sergio Ramos, Ronaldo, and now it's you. Real Madrid is a different beast. And his personality, nothing about him says Real Madrid. There's nothing about Eden Hazard that says Real Madrid. Quiet, family guy. You never see him on social media. Hey, Sergio Ramos, tattoos, the beautiful wife. You know what I
The
mean?
controversy, the red cards.
You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
all action all the time. It's Hollywood. Eden Hazard, he was so happy at Chelsea. And the other thing about trying to be happier than happy is if you're loved, don't leave. I know the temptation is, what if? Don't try and be happier than happy. Self-awareness. That's all it is. Just a little bit of self-awareness would have helped him. And now it's over. Like, it is over now. His career, it is what it is.
But you see, I think that's an old generation kind of thing. You had Lampard, Terry, Gerrard, sure,
Yeah.
many legends.
Yeah.
And all of them stayed at one club for their entire career. I know Terry's West Ham and Lampard went to City.
Well,
and then
yeah. But
I
I know
mean,
what you're saying.
in the peaks of their career, they weren't tempted away from what made them them. Gerrard was tempted away from Liverpool by Jose Mourinho's Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think Real Madrid were also involved
Yeah,
in that
no,
whole
he
thing.
was.
And he decided to stay at Liverpool. Lampard was at Chelsea for most of his career, and then he went to City. Strange move. John Terry, West Ham, then Chelsea was obviously the biggest part of his career. So it's definitely that older generation that are sort of that's their way of thinking. Like, you don't always have to move on to something else, if that makes sense.
You know what? I think situations are unique. If you're a middle of the pack guy, move.
Yeah, sure.
If
Sure.
we make you the prize asset, there are very few places that will love you. Real Madrid loves nobody. Real Madrid is the 50-year-old guy with a drop-top car, and he's just after the next good-looking 25-year-old.
With candy.
No, that's a whole different beast. But Real Madrid loves nobody. Chelsea loved him. And Hazard was one of one. So for me, this isn't applicable to every player. I'm not saying everybody should stay. If you are the apex predator, though, because when you leave Chelsea, you go from being the guy to just being another guy. And that's not for everybody. And, people make this mistake all the time to think change is better. Change is not always better. Why do you want to change? Why do you want to change? Are you going to be loved more wherever you go next? Is your next business more stable? Like, people just like, I hate this situation now. I want to get out. That's not a good reason to leave. It's not always a good reason to leave. You should always have, I mean, especially when you're loved. When you are loved, I don't understand why people try and be happier than happy. But again, it's a new time, I guess. Social media, it can always be better. You can always fulfillment. Back in the day with our parents, the shame was to stay or the shame was to leave, right? Religion, blah, blah, blah. Now in life, you think the shame is to stay. Most marriages, 60% of marriages end up in divorce. Maybe that's what it is now, the gig economy, huh, James?
I think it's really sad. You don't have many, and I don't think you will, in the future of football. You won't have a lot of cult heroes anymore, because it'll be the best players in the world who you want to be cult heroes.
Yeah.
Let's use Neymar for an example, right? So Neymar's the type of player that you would want as a cult hero at your club. He's flashy. He can score a goal every now and then.
Yeah, he gets the kids.
He's the type of player you would want as a cult hero, but he's never going to be one because him and his agent are always after the money. It's always the money with Neymar. It's didn't go to Real Madrid because Barca offered more.
Yeah.
Went to Barca. PSG come along, moves to PSG. So he's never going to be a cult hero. And I think that's going to be a thing in football fairly soon when these youngsters come through, like Mason Greenwood, for example. If he sort of becomes a better, more consistent player, he could be one of those players that
Real Madrid, huh?
Yeah.
Look, for me, I totally understand what you're saying, and Neymar is such a good example. But if you're Eden Hazard, you should know your personality. You're not Neymar. So don't try and fulfill that, let me move to Real Madrid. And that makes no sense. It's not your personality type. It's like, for me, right, now, I always think to myself, if I went and worked at a bank. That'd be a nightmare. Like if you times my income by 10, but it's within a year, I'm probably on every antidepressant on earth. So, but I know that, I don't understand why Eden Hazard thought Real Madrid in any part of his life would work. Nothing about him says, I want to go to Real Madrid. Oh, and by the way, you're replacing a guy called Cristiano Ronaldo, if you haven't heard of him. We expect exactly the same. Okay, you've always been overweight preseason. He's a different beast. Oh, by the way, how do you feel about public signings? Oh, by the way, we're going to China at the end of the year. You're a part of that. Like, he's never been that for Chelsea. Chelsea protected him so much. You never saw him on Chelsea adverts.
Also, by the way, you're joining a club that's had players like Raul and David Beckham and,
you're not a
the
hero.
other Ronaldo. Like, you're just another dude here.
And his personality type seems like the type of person you've got to reassure.
Sure.
And hey, listen, good luck to you if you move. All I'm saying is when you go somewhere, just know that you are making that decision. Don't go because you want to be like your older brother who's a different personality type, but you just want to be that accountant driving the German car, when actually what's important to you is having a stable home. Right? For Eden Hazard, everything about him says stable.
Yes.
Right? Hidden. Chelsea, great. Premier League, great. In fact, the Premier League protected him, even. There was no expectations. Gerrard, Lampard, these other guys, De Bruyne now, Aguero, they are everywhere all the time. You never really saw Hazard. And he was the best player for 5 years.
That is a good point.
No, because
I haven't thought about that.
They protected him. But what he thought was, Real Madrid, I've always thought when I was 15, that's the dream. And then as you get older, you should know, oh my God, that would be my nightmare on earth. It'll be my because he just wants to play football. Real Madrid is a marketing machine. And if you're not a part of it and you're the pin-up boy, surely that's a nightmare.
It's very difficult because how do you turn down a club like Real Madrid? And I don't think Real Madrid's the only club that have this sort of magnetism and drive towards them from other players. Dembele, Ousmane Dembele at Barca, he doesn't, for me, I don't think he should be the 19-year-old or 20-year-old that's responsible for the left wing at Barcelona Football Club.
Yeah, that was a disaster from both sides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you as a 19, 20-year-old shouldn't, but that's also the thing. How do you turn down Barcelona or Real Madrid? How do you do it?
You know why Messi and Ronaldo worked? Was that they were fully aware of who they are. There's a reason why people are struggling. I mean, you look at João Felix at Atletico Madrid right now. You look at even Raheem Sterling, how it's working at Man City right now. Is Cristiano Ronaldo did it perfectly. I'm the guy at Sporting, so natural personality. I'm going to go to Manchester United at a time where I can learn to be the guy, right? You got to learn to be the guy on the posters, learn what it takes single day while your personality is developing. Right? Leo Messi, protected from 13. His environment, quiet guy, just about the football. Barcelona tell you, we're more than a football club. Perfect. That's what you want to do. The personality must match the workplace. Right? Cristiano Ronaldo, perfect. Man United, authoritarian manager. Great. That works for me because I like to be coached hard. Right? I like that. Cristiano Ronaldo, clearly, personality type, worked perfectly. Robinho, Real Madrid, flashy, awesome. In and amongst Galacticos, player of the season. I want to go to Manchester for more money. Oh no. I'm at Man City. They're paying me everything. It's raining on Wednesday nights. Problem. That's a lack of self-awareness. And I think Eden Hazard, his dream became nightmare on earth purely from lack of self-awareness. This was always going to be a disaster. He's not made for Real Madrid. It's not the ability that's the problem. And I told you, talent's not enough. Talent is not enough. You can.
I also don't think Hazard's incredibly talented. I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's highly overrated in my opinion.
Wow.
Actually.
How
I do
about
think
that?
Hazard's overrated.
Okay. James Ellingsley says Eden Hazard's overrated. Do we have a poll today, by the way?
We don't because of the guest.
No poll. All right. Well, let's get to this before we have our guest. Eden Hazard, huh? What a disaster.
Eden Hazard.
Yeah, it's a disaster. It's a disaster, and it was always going to be. All right. Let's get into this. The Arsenal. The Arsenal. So we got a guest coming up in about 10, 15 minutes. But I want to talk about the Arsenal. Right. The Arsenal are an interesting institution to observe over the last 20 years. And remember, companies are living, breathing things with people, and they think and they feel. And people hide behind organizational names, but it's people. It's people that lead to situations. Arsenal isn't just on its own, pitching up late for work. But let me put it to you this way. If your parents kick you out of home, right, when you're young, 18, 19, maybe they're bad people. Maybe they got their own issues. All right. If your sister, who you moved in with after that, also kicks you out, that starts to let me know something. But then when your girlfriend, who you've been with for 6 years, also kicks you out of the house, then I got to start saying, what's going on with you? Yeah, because mom and dad, okay, maybe they were crazy. Your sister, maybe you got family issues, who knows? But your girlfriend, who you've been going out with for 6 years, you move into her house, she says after 6 months, sorry, pal. That's a you problem. That is a you problem. Listen, if you don't fix yourself, and I've been a troubled person in my life, in my 20s, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, but I started taking control of my own things. I didn't seek any counseling. I come from a great background, just had to stop being the person I was. My parents are great, my mom's great, my dad's great, my sister's great, my family's great, supportive. But if you don't fix yourself, right, and this is non-negotiable, it's non-negotiable. If you don't fix yourself, by the way, you will never have peace. You will never have stability. You will never have the things you want. It's non-negotiable. Listen, you got to have standards. You got to have standards for yourself. People say, they always go, I want to date a 10. I want to date a 9. I want to date an 8, however people do their ratings. You know how that actually works? You know, the 10s, the 9s, you see these people in what look like great relationships, and all relationships are hard. But actually what you need to do is yourself become an 8. So if what's important to you is stability, enough income to have a nice home, and a holiday once a year, you need to become that first. And inevitably, this is not Instagram, whatever, inevitably you will attract that. And it'll last, by the way. Because if you're just good looking, that's fun for the first year. It's nice to have arm candy, male and female, for a year. But then she's getting drunk on Sunday nights. She forgets the kids at school. I don't care if you're Giselle Bundchen. I don't know if I want my 6-year-old daughter being left at school. Looks very quickly become boring. Become the thing you want to be and execute that behavior over a long time. Folks, if you're chaotic, there is nothing we can do to save you. I'm allergic to chaos. I was chaotic. It's not great. Trust me, it's not great for me, and it's not great for anybody around you. The people who love you hate chaos. I'm allergic to chaos personally. Arsenal Football Club keep telling me they want a new investor. But you're a mess. Stan Kroenke will be the problem a little bit. I can see where your problem with Kroenke is a little bit. But then when I say to the Arsenal, what have you been doing for the last 20 years? Sorry, there's no Spotify money that can save you from the mediocrity of the last 20 years. There is no Spotify money that's saving you from that. I just want to let you know. You know why? If I come to you and you're on drugs and you're drinking every day and you tell me you want to be in a stable relationship, how's that supposed to work? If you are chaotic and you say, I just want the dream partner. I just want somebody with a stable job. I want somebody who can make sure that there's nice food in the fridge. I want somebody who can help me with all of my troubles, and I want to grow with them. But you're hammered on Wednesday afternoons every week. That doesn't work. You've got to be the thing you want to attract. Right? Be the thing you want to attract. You have to. It's the only way it works. And short term, it's not necessarily true. If you want something quality, something that'll last long term, be the thing you want to attract. The Arsenal Football Club, I'm afraid, has been dysfunctional for 20 years. Before Kroenke took over completely, right? And there's a certain Mr. Wenger who has to wear some of it. He's a legend by Arsenal standards, but he has to wear some of it. It was chaotic from 2005 onwards. Sorry, you don't get to day to 10 if you're chaotic. Chaos is the enemy of progress. Arsenal have been chaotic for 20 years now. I'm sorry, listen. The mediocrity came in and was set in well before Stan Kroenke took over. Well before. 2004, 2005 is a long, long, long time ago. You can't be chaotic for 20 years and tell me it's everyone else's fault. It's not Man City's fault that they got rich. It's not Chelsea's fault that they got rich. Arsenal had a head start. Arsenal had the legacy before Chelsea. Chelsea shouldn't have been able to buy their way ahead of Arsenal consistently for 10 years. Arsenal should have been able to attract everybody. They had Overmars. They had Bergkamp. They had Henry. They had the stadium. It should have never been a money thing with Arsenal. It should have been, we want to go there. And things happened. They find themselves here. Let me tell you something. Folks, you give an alcoholic money for food. Please don't be shocked when you come back around that the alcoholic has bought a Jack Daniels. Don't be shocked. Don't do that. Chaotic people are chaotic, and you should be angry at yourself when you're angry at them for being chaotic. People are who they are. Arsenal are what they are. There is no Bergkamp that's coming to save you. There is no Vieira that's coming to save you. There is no Henry. Let me tell you something. Everybody thinks Arsenal, it's everyone else's fault. It's Kroenke's fault. Let me just finish off on this. I want to tell you what Arsenal has had as leadership since Patrick Vieira and how it's gone. You tell me you're a football club. William Gallas. Oh, he's William Gallas. Cesc Fabregas. He left. Robin van Persie. He left. Thomas Vermaelen. He left. Mikel Arteta. Nice player, good leadership, mediocre player. Per Mertesacker. Nice player, good leadership, mediocre player. Koscielny ripped his shirt off on a social media post. That's how he left. Xhaka zapped the fans and threw his shirt on the floor. Aubameyang, I said it was a joke that he's captain from the very beginning. And now you're seeing it. Money doesn't change people. It makes them more of who they are. Aubameyang fell apart. He should have sided with Arteta in the David Luiz fallout. That's the leadership they've had since Patrick Vieira and Tony Adams. Folks, that's not anyone else's fault but Arsenal. The mediocrity set in well before Kroenke. Spotify's not coming to save you. You can sell all the podcasts you want. You can... Spotify's money, Daniel Ek, Vieira... And by the way, Dennis Bergkamp got fired at Ajax by his friends, Edwin van der Sar and Mark Overmars. Patrick Vieira, how's that gone? How's that gone at Nice? How did it go at New York? How did that go? Thierry Henry. That Monaco team wasn't awful with Cesc Fabregas. Nearly got them relegated. Folks, I love my mom. I love my mother. I want my mother nowhere near my money. Mom, if you're watching this, I love you. I want my mother nowhere near my money. Just because you love somebody, it doesn't mean they should run your life. Daniel Ek loves the Arsenal. Does not mean he should own them. Does not mean you should own them. And the fans getting involved, well, we're going to talk about that in a bit. The Arsenal, James.
The Arsenal.
The Arsenal, huh?
The Arsenal.
All right.
I have a lot of thoughts on the Arsenal, but we'll do it.
We'll have our time.
Post intermission.
All right. Tell you what, James and I are going to hug. Listen, we got a special guest, which we're really looking forward to having Tade on. Mr. Tade Osho. He'll have plenty to say, I'm sure. He's listen.
I'm very excited.
If you haven't seen Tade's stuff, I love his channel, and we'll talk about his podcast. He's always on AFTV. Really looking forward to having him on. What we're going to do though for a little bit, we're going to have our hugging time. We'll call it an intermission in the business. Myself and James will hug, reunite.
I enjoy hugging.
What was the term? We'll do some organic alignment.
Yes, we will be organically aligning during the intermission.
Marketing people are the biggest douchebags on this planet.
Organic alignment,
folks. Somebody we both work with told us that somebody in a meeting said to them, we're going to do organic alignment. I also don't know what that means. You just sound like a douchebag. But I'm projecting. I sound angry. I'm not. I'm happy. Or, you know what? I'm content.
He's never happy. You
I'm
can't
never
actually
happy.
make him happy.
I'm never happy.
It's impossible.
I'm always driving. Everything can always be better. But it's why I work with James. You know, he works hard. Kid works hard. Went to AFTA, went to Saints. We all have our problems. But, hey, James, we're going to take a break and we'll hug this out.
There's a reason there's bags under my eyes.
Yeah, all right. Let's go to an intermission. MKT Show. Is systemically, it's FIFA and UEFA are so sick that people at UEFA now only know that way of operating. The only way to clean out UEFA and FIFA, you'd literally have to fire everybody.
God.
Oh my God,
Literally.
you guys. Yeah. You'd have to literally fire everyone. It's the only way to purge it.
Yeah, I do think there's a huge systemic issue that's, like you say, wrong with FIFA and UEFA. I mean, you get rid of Sepp Blatter, and then you get the next person that takes his place is also corrupt, and then the next person that takes...
who was there? Infantino was sitting in the rooms with Jerome Falca and Sepp Blatter. Seferin was sitting in the rooms with Platini and these people. So this is not like they got somebody from the outside who was running an investment bank in Yemen.
Yeah.
No. These are people that were in on the game.
We're going to use the same people.
By the way, Infantino never thought of maybe telling us about the Qatar thing while you were there in the rooms, the deals being made? No. No, he played a political game so he could be president. This is what you're dealing with. This is what we've chosen. I don't understand people.
It's like SAFA on a larger scale.
Nothing's like SAFA. The MKT Show. I'm MKT, by the way. That's the name of this show. and the show's named after me. Feels pretty good. Good for my ego. Good for my self-worth. You know what I'm saying?
It's nice to keep you humble.
People say I'm too humble.
I'd like to meet these people.
What are you saying? People are wrong?
They couldn't be more wrong.
All right, James. All right. Well, I tell you what. I tell you who's right. Tell you what feels right. Yeah, we got a cool guest coming up. He's in the UK, but great to have him. Listen, he's a gunner, so things aren't easy for him at the moment. But he's going to talk us through it. What's it like supporting the Gunners? Of course, European Super League. All sorts is going on right now. And I've just given my thoughts, of course. Hey, they may become a podcast within the next 2 years. Who knows? Spotify taking over. Just maybe fold that whole Emirates thing and turn it into Joe Rogan's just going to come over and do his podcast from that whole stadium. I don't know if that's going to happen. But if you haven't seen him on AFTV, ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by Tade Osho. Tade, my man, what is going on?
Hello, how are you doing? What's good?
I'm very good.
Can I ask you a question? How do you pronounce your name? Is it Mbulelo or Bulelo?
Mbulelo. It's a hard M.
Mbulelo.
That's it.
I got it right, yeah? All right.
Hey,
10 brownie points for me then.
Listen, for a Gunners fan, not bad.
Good one. I'll get you back.
Hey, Tade, so listen, I'm a Chelsea fan. It ain't easy right now, but Tade, how are you doing, my brother?
It's easy for you. You guys played a good game yesterday against Real Madrid.
Yeah, we should have
You
won.
guys should be winning that game, you know?
Absolutely.
Shocking stuff.
Yeah.
But how do I find you this morning? How are you doing? How's London? Where are you based exactly?
Actually, I'm not based in London. I'm based in a town called Ipswich, which is about an hour and a half drive, depending on traffic, from London.
Wow.
And I make my way from there to the games before the pandemic, obviously. And it's been a joyful ride with Arsenal, I would say, since I've been an Arsenal fan, and it's really crazy. It's crazy being an Arsenal fan, especially with everything that's happened with the ESL, and even before then, we've all seen that Arsenal fans are probably the most patient fans on the face of the earth, considering what we've been going through for years. But listen, it is what it is at the end of the day. All I can say is I'm good and well. The pandemic is still, we've seen what's happening in India. It's really crazy situation all over the world right now. And I'm happy to be alive. That's the most important thing, football aside.
Hey, well said, my brother. Well said. It's the little things, And as a Gunner, I didn't think that you'd say happy and alive in the same sentence with the way things have gone for the Gunners this year. Did you go to the protests? Because I saw some of those. I know you're obviously friends with. You're obviously on a big feature of the AFTV guys, and you do your own stuff. Were you at the protests, or were you at work?
No, I wasn't. I mean, apart from football, I've got my life, you see. And one thing I keep telling people is the fact that I'm going to get to the protest in a bit. One thing I keep telling people at the end of the day, football is a game, it's a sport, right? You enjoy it. It's part of the entertainment. It's part of the banter. You have arguments right, left, and center. But don't forget your ideals in life, which is quite important. And I have the things that I do that puts the food on my table. It's not football. Football is a hobby. So I couldn't make it, unfortunately, because I was working and, I had to make ends meet for myself. So I couldn't make the protests. And I tried to get a few people to give live correspondence from the protest ground. Unfortunately, when you're having like 10,000 protesters, of course, that's going to have a big impact on the bandwidth of your mobile providers. So it was a messy conversation I had the guy called Igel. He has his own TV, Igel EGTV, and I couldn't get anything from him. So I just stopped the show. It was a disaster, but it is what it is.
Hey, well said. It is what it is. And I tell you what is the Arsenal right now. Before we get into the protests and everything, obviously, with the Super League, that's a whole different situation, right? Tell me, how long have you been supporting Arsenal, Teddy?
Ooh, as far back as I was in Nigeria, I would say it's quite interesting because I haven't really expatiated or exposed myself on this matter, but I will say it here anyways. So I was one of them people that I was one of those few people back in Nigeria. I've always loved football since I was a child, right? But when I was living in Nigeria, it was a case of I just love football. I just watched every team. And I suppose Kanu Wanko back in '99 was the one that really got me to support Arsenal. I've been watching Arsenal before then, but I never really picked a team, right? But with the way I play football, with the way I love to play football on the streets, I kind of love the way Arsene Wenger kind of, put the team out there. I love the way Arsenal plays football. And ultimately, Kanu opened the way for a lot of Nigerians to support Arsenal Football Club. So I would say I became a proper fan, say probably around 2000, because as at '99, I was still weighing my options. And I would say 2000 was when I became an actual fan. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So yeah.
Oh,
that's when I started saying I became a core Arsenal fan.
In
Sorry?
my opinion, I'm not sure why you're still not weighing up your options with Arsenal's current form.
yeah. Hey,
Listen, there's something about having a club at heart. It's not about when everything is all well and dandy. It's mainly about being true to your support of the club. There's just something about it. There's just something. You just want them to do well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm with you.
every time we have the grimace in our faces, we're angry every day, but there's just something.
Well
when
said,
you
listen.
belong somewhere, you just belong somewhere.
Yeah, well said. You don't divorce your wife after you have a fight. I hear you. That's not how this thing
Exactly.
goes. I hear you.
Exactly. Yeah. When you get married, right? You guys, you have the vows that you exchange between each other. And when there are a lot of forces out there that are trying to, separate the two of you, maybe some girl is trying to get in between your marriage, stuff like that. You still have to fight. You have to fight against it now. You understand?
I hear every word you are saying, and those forces have come strong. But let's talk about a little bit about. By the way, your pronunciation of Kanu there, is that the correct way to say it? Because the British way has always been Nwaku.
Nwako Kanu.
Nwako.
Nwako Kanu.
Tade, not everybody's old like me and you. Oh, what a player. Listen, I'm an Inter Milan fan, and I have been for a longer time probably than I favored every other team. Right? A lot of people don't know that he was there before that. By the way, this guy had a heart problem, had a heart issue, but the most elegant, silkiest player you've ever seen. By the way, just Google Kanu Arsenal goal. I think it was in the hat-trick game. He scores it from the most impossible angle, and that was just another day.
Against your team.
Oh, I know. I that's what makes me sick. I didn't even want to say it. It made me sick. But this guy, serious player, by the way. A lot of people, I mean, JJ Okocha and him, for me in the 90s, that's what introduced me. That great Super Eagles team, the 96, obviously that great team with Rashidi Yakini,
Atlanta,
that great team. And then you bring Kanu and that great 2000 Olympic team that Kanu was a part of. And some team that was. Celestine Babayaro, that team there. But Kanu was, he was
Chelsea, yep.
He was the jewel in the crown, right? Kanu was, he was the extra. And oh my God, if you're young, this guy. So a great way to become a fan of anything. But that was a different Arsenal. Let's talk a little bit now. You're an Arsenal fan now. It's 2021, and we'll get back to a few of the older guys, the legendary days. How do you feel about the state of Arsenal, and what do you think got Arsenal to be where they are now? Because I don't even recognize them from the days you're talking about with Kanu.
One word to describe Arsenal: shambolic right now. That's one way to describe Arsenal. It's absolutely shambolic. I said it before on several of my shows. Arsenal are like a metal that you left in water, which has been rusting for a long time. And it's got to a point now that, when metal gets rusty, sometimes it begins to break, and it's beginning to break. Until a new metal is purchased, you're probably going to keep rusting. That's the situation of Arsenal Football Club now. It's been a money-making machine for as far back as I can remember, and it all stemmed from the whole self-sustaining model. And I can understand why they thought the self-sustaining model is the principle by which they will run the club. Now, I understood that, we got a loan for Emirates and blah, 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 blah. And, Arsene Wenger ensured that we maintained Champions League football and the revenues were coming in. And in as much as the revenue was coming in, we were still making top four, and we were able to pay back the debt, I think, in half the duration that we were given to pay back. Good and fine. I understand that. Now you have the money. Use it. God damn it. And then they didn't use it. And this is what is really, really annoying. And this is why a lot of people have gone against Kroenke. I've been against Kroenke for a very, 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 very long time. And I just felt Arsene Wenger bared all the blame on behalf of these guys. And a lot of people's eyes are beginning to open. I must say I've talked about this a long time ago. I've been saying it for a long time ago that people are going to realize how important Arsene Wenger was. I'm not saying he's above mistakes. He's made his own mistakes. He's a human. Everyone does. Everyone apologizes for it. But was his mistakes the main reason why we are in these states? I don't think so.
But in that sense, then somebody might say Arsene Wenger was through his own choices because he's a smart man. He doesn't seem like a guy who's going to do things that he doesn't want to do. He was part and parcel of sort of, like you said, the austerity measures at the beginning, understandable. But then what happened after he paid the debt off? He stayed for a considerable amount of time, and it looked like the model didn't change. And listen, I may be incorrect, but everything we read was that he was in charge of everything from top to bottom, from the executive level, the spending, where it would go. Is he not culpable slightly with the Kroenkes? Because I love Arsene Wenger, but I just don't think sometimes if you are the authority, I don't want people divorcing themselves from responsibility when things don't go well. Should Wenger bear any blame for you were with Kroenke, you were in the meetings, and you never said no, and you never let the fans know any different? Or as a non-Arsenal fan, should I not be saying that? And how do you Arsenal fans feel about Wenger's implication in the Kroenke process, and even before that, the rusting metal, as you beautifully put it?
All right. In 2017 or 18, I can't remember which year now, probably 2017 or 2018. I remember very well an interview I had on AFTV where we got beat by Nottingham Forest. It was, I think, FA Cup. Either the FA Cup or the Carabao. I think it's the FA Cup. We got beaten 4-2, right? And I remember very well that interview. I talked about this. Arsene Wenger is an employee. Whether we like it or not, he might have as much authority as he is an employee.
Sure.
He doesn't own Arsenal Football Club. Yes, when I was young, I thought he owned Arsenal Football Club because his name Arsene and Arsenal. I was confused. But then I was a very young boy, right? He doesn't own Arsenal Football Club. And everything is about the pressure. If the pressure is not exerted on an employee, he's not going to change his ways of doing things. He has a certain way he does things. He proposes to them, this is how I think it should be done. They believe in him to go ahead with it, right? But then again, if the owner of the club feels, listen, I'm tired of the fans' anger. I am tired of what is going on in this football club. Like the Sheikhs, for instance. The Sheikhs, Abramovich, they take it into their hands. They are the owners of the club. They put the pressures on the manager. There's only a certain amount of power that Arsene Wenger has. Yes, granted, I've read part of his book. I haven't finished it yet because I've been so busy. Where he said he didn't really like the whole idea of the director of football, and he felt maybe when the power has been taken away from him a little bit, he feels as if, he doesn't really like that because maybe he had too much power. Like I said before, he makes mistakes. He's a human being, right? And I get that. And let's be honest, when you are in a powerful position, it's almost difficult for you to take it when someone is going to take that power away from you as a human being.
To your point, I've never in life heard anybody say, hey, this money and power, I've got too much of it. So 100% hear you there.
Yeah. So if you consider all these factors, right, it still boils down to what I was saying earlier. He's an employee. What is the ambition of the owners of the club? That's the first question. Is the ambition of the owners of the club, to win titles, to win trophies, or to just make money? And they found someone here that they felt could still maintain a certain level of pride by getting us to the Champions League, and we go there and embarrass ourselves every year, and then still make some certain amount of money. And that was how they used Arsene Wenger. So yes, he is a bit culpable in a manner of speaking for him saying certain things, right? But I don't think the majority of the blame should go to him, because now we've seen that there is so much mediocrity in the club, which he managed to get to top four. A lot of managers cannot repeat that fate. That's the thing people need to understand. And people's eyes are beginning to open to what I said. And I warned about this same thing happening back in Arsene Wenger days. I warned about this same thing happening under Emery, and it's happened now. People are now blaming Arteta, but the main problem is not managers. It is the ambition of the owners.
Wow. That is
because
so
if Arsene Wenger was under pressure, sorry, say that again.
No, I said that's so interesting. Go ahead. If Arsene Wenger was under pressure.
Yeah. If Arsene Wenger is put under the right pressure to deliver certain things and say, listen, this season, all I want from you is a win. of the Premier League or a win of a Champions League. And he says, all right, if that's what you want, give me X, Y, and Z. I want to get Messi. I want to get Ronaldo. I want to get De Bruyne. I want to get Salah, whatever. And they don't do that. They're like, listen, I told you, if you want to win the league, this is what you need to do. But they didn't do that. They agreed to everything he said as a manager, and they went along with it. Because of what? Because they're making money.
And it is, listen, the
That's
Benjamins, listen, that's a fair point. And when you go to that, though, now we're going to come back to Kroenke, but you as an Arsenal fan now, because I always wonder how Arsenal fans see Arsene Wenger, you know. For me, what you're saying, I also think I saw it 15 years ago. You know, the day I thought I stopped thinking of Arsenal as an elite club was 2012. Even then, it was eroding slowly. You know, Vieira had gone, Henry had gone. But the day Robin van Persie was able to wangle out, and I know the circumstances, he'd run down his contract, but the day Robin van Persie was allowed to go to Manchester United in a season where he was simply in those 2 seasons, that block at Arsenal was the first time he hadn't been injured, you'll remember, and he was the best striker in the Premier League. The day he could walk out...
Couple of seasons, yeah.
The day he walked out and you allowed him, and I don't care how much money, I don't care how much he insisted. The day Arsene Wenger and Arsenal allowed Manchester United to take him, I'll be honest with you, was the day I stopped thinking of Arsenal as an elite team, to be honest with you. I just, that's when I thought, my God, it's truly all over now. It's bad enough that Van Persie wants to leave, but not like that. And then I ask you as an Arsenal fan, your thoughts on Arsene Wenger. Do you still see him as legend, built this club, made us what we are? Obviously, after George Graham, we know those awful things that happened at the end, and he had to go, and then you brought in, there was an interim, and then you had Wenger, obviously the scientist, the professor, as we all know him. For you, your memories of Wenger the legend, or Wenger the man that stayed too long, the Icarus figure?
As the legend, whether we like it or not. And I'll say why I say what I say. The simple reason is because you've mentioned all these players, the Henrys. Who made Henry? He made Henry.
Yeah.
Beckham didn't do well in Inter Milan for the short time he had. Yes, granted, he was a good player, but he still thrived under Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Vieira thrived under Arsene Wenger. Van Persie was converted from a winger to a lethal striker. In spite of all the injuries, he was kept, and he was improved upon, and he improved his game. Henry was improved upon, was a winger as well. We had the likes of Theo Walcott, who was mediocre, whom I never really, really rated, let's be very honest, playing alongside the likes of Van Persie. And you mentioned something about the time you thought Arsenal was not an elite club was when Van Persie left. I already knew we're not an elite club when we had the likes of Theo Walcott filling in the boots of Ljungberg and Pires. That's the truth.
So you knew back then.
With all due respect. Yes, because people that know me knew I've been complaining about this for a long time.
Hey, listen, must have broken your heart when Theo Walcott took the number 14 from Henry. I thought, oh my God.
Of course.
Oh my God.
I was heartbroken. I was shattered.
Hey, listen, this happens, right? Remember when Antonio Valencia went from 25 to 7 at Man United for like a season, and then he went back to 25? You remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that should have happened with Walcott. Like, the 14 at Arsenal should be that is the holy grail. Like, if you wear this shirt, like, I feel like Bukayo Saka now should get the 14. You know what I mean? Like, he's for real.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
But you should be that level. Do you know what I mean? You can't be.
Yeah.
Listen, Theo Walcott, great career, right? I'm not gonna take away from what he's done. He's not a bum. He's played in the Premier League, but there's levels. You know, in the sea, you get tuna. And you get dolphins, and then you get the orca, or you get the killer whale. That's Henry. That's Bergkamp. That's you know what I mean. There's Aguero. Like, I feel like shouldn't they have taken that 14 seriously? Not Walcott. It
goes back to what we're saying about the club. It goes back to how we measure the abilities of certain players, and this is where part of the things I'm going to fault Wenger for. Wenger thought the way he was able to get the best out of certain players was the way he could get the best out of those crop of players that he had in the football club. I mean, when I mean the type of players, I'm talking about the likes of Giroud, the likes of Theo Walcott, the likes of Chamberlain. You know, all these players, they can't tie the shoelace of many of the players in the Invincibles. And this is one of the things I will.
When you're done,
All right. No, I mean, go on. say what you want to say.
No, I just wanted to ask. I read an interesting article a while back with regards to Arsenal and their downfall, and it was after their invincible season, and that article credited Arsenal's downfall to Arsenal focusing more on becoming a brand because they were the first and only club to do the invincible season, and before that they were winning FA Cups and stuff like that. So after that invincible season, they focused on, brand awareness and Arsenal being a worldwide brand like a Real Madrid or, along those kind of lines. What do you think? Do you think that is accurate to say? Do you think it's actually how Arsenal have fallen, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So I mean, I can't tell you whether that's exactly how it happened, but there's a bit of truth in what you're saying. It's very obvious that this club has only thought about themselves and how to make money and how to have a healthy financial situation, which makes absolute sense from should I say, from an organizational standpoint. You have to have a healthy bank account for you to be able to purchase certain players. But then the question is, you now have a healthy bank account. What are you using that money for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. What are you using that money for? But then again, when you talk about them focusing on, brand awareness and all that, let's think about this, right? The players that Arsene Wenger had at his disposal, I will say, in a manner of speaking, he was lucky to have some of those players. It's a symbiotic relationship. Players and manager is a symbiotic relationship. There are certain ways that you will motivate players. There are certain ways that you will get the best out of players. And I thought he had the right group of players that suited his method of, getting the best out of players. And it worked for him, right? Unfortunately, with the snowflake mentality of the new generation of players that we have, you need a different method of approach. And I would say maybe...
Sorry, I want to jump in there. You're making a point I made on the show a while back, right? You're saying something which I totally agree. Everybody thinks when when Arsenal was at level 11, right? 11 out of 10 when Henry, Ljungberg, Pires, that great team. And not even just the Invincibles, but that whole core. Everybody always thinks it was a finesse team. But I always say, in fact, how you win is you need to be nasty bastards. Like Henry was a nasty bugger. You think of Pires, you think of Ljungberg, you think of... But I think that team was built around Seaman, Keown, Bold, off that, the famous 1-0 to the Arsenal team. And then you bring it forward slightly. When you think of... There is nothing nice about facing Lorraine, Sol Campbell, Kolo Toure, Grimandi in that time, Ray Parler. When you think of the core, it actually wasn't the flash guys for me that was built on. The great Gilberto, Vieira. The winning wasn't built around Henry. He was the icing. He wasn't the cake. Yeah. I feel like Arsene Wenger started to kind of go towards, and you saw the famous Thierry Henry interview where he said he started to center the club around Cesc Fabregas and those types of players, and you saw where you went there. And I wonder if maybe Arsenal turning it around and getting back to... And maybe you disagree with me, but I think Arsenal actually won because of power and nastiness. And then you had the icing of Pires, Henry, who were also nasty buggers, but that was the icing. It wasn't the center. It to me, when Wenger switched to those small, Gleb, Fabregas,
technical,
more
players, technical.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake because he started to believe it was about him. Like you said, and Pep always says, without the players, he is nothing. But it's such a good point that you're making. Arsenal need to get back to a power team.
So I think what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is there was a nice balance. They had the power, the pace, the finesse, all joined together in one team. There was balance. Unfortunately, we moved to a team that was more technically no grit, no power, no nastiness. It became just purely based on technical abilities. And that's one of the reasons why our defense was shambolic. Defensively, we were poor. When we had the likes of Song, we had the likes of Arteta, Diaby, Fabregas. They were well and good, but we did not have a spine.
Yes.
You need ruthlessness in the team.
Absolutely.
You need ruthlessness, and that was the problem. However, this is where it becomes very interesting. We now had a man called Mourinho and Abramovich.
Yes.
Unfortunately, for you to be able to get players like that now, you need they raised the bar in terms of the valuation of players. And this was where now our problems began. What do I mean? Because we know we have stingy owners. Now the bar has been raised for how much you need to get the likes of Drogba, the likes of Michael Essien,
Yeah.
We were never going to get those kind of players ever again. Never, ever, because we're never going to spend that money. Do I like the fact that money has spoiled football? No, absolutely no. I don't like the fact that money has spoiled football because it's a bit too exorbitant. It's a bit too high. It's crazy right now. Stupid. Then there needs to be a control on it, in my opinion, right?
Sure.
But the reality is you need money to get the likes of Vieira. How much do you think Vieira is going to be worth in today's market?
Oh, if John Stones went for 50 million, Patrick Vieira 150. Get out of town. Are you kidding me?
There you go.
Get out of here. Patrick Vieira is impossible to find again. Oh my God. I can't believe you even asked me that. You nearly made my head explode. Honestly, if Coutinho went for 100 and what? 130?
120.
Vieira 180.
20, yeah.
Because you know what? Patrick, hey, Tade, you got me started here because these youngsters don't understand what it is, right?
Go on. Go on.
And it made me cry to see what Vieira was doing to Lampard and these before Lampard got a little bit of help from a guy called Michael Essien and oh my God, using him like a rag doll, right? Gerrard being used like a rag doll. The thing about Patrick Vieira, and I think this is another core thing, and I'd love to hear your thoughts at Arsenal, is that not only was he unstoppable box to box, right? He did the technical side, he did the physical. But then you got the leadership, again, that nastiness. You got the leadership for him to go and tell Thierry Henry that I don't care who you are, get there and get there now, not when it's comfortable for you.
Yeah.
He'll tell Ashley Cole, get there and get there now. When you get that with Vieira, is the number on that, and the great Roy Keane, I've always said, is the greatest midfielder the league ever seen, not just on talent, but because Vieira and Keane gave you this, is it's almost like having another manager on the field. And that's like a cheat code.
Yeah.
For me, which is why I think the Invincibles went to another level. You had two managers. Vieira.
Yeah. Listen. In every football game, every manager wants someone that can be his voice on the football pitch. Unfortunately, in Arsenal, we don't have that. There was never a captain. The captain we had in Koscielny was a quiet captain. Now we have Aubameyang, who just runs up and down like a headless chicken sometimes. He doesn't speak. He's not ruthless enough. Xhaka is much more than a manager than Aubameyang. Yes, Xhaka doesn't have the physical, not the physical. He doesn't have the technical ability, up there as one of the best. But he's more of a leader than Aubameyang, and you need that on the football pitch. People keep blaming. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say that I don't care what people feel about me. I don't care what people feel about my opinions. But one thing is, people overestimate the job of managers. I'm sorry, people overestimate it. What do I mean? Once the players go beyond that white line and get within that rectangle, tough, it is all left to the decisions there. There is this much a manager can do to motivate. I saw the video of Henry when he was in his former club, shouting his lungs out, screaming at all the players. They still lost the game. Was it 4-2 or 3-1 or something? Yeah. Saying all sort of things on the sideline. Look, you can coach as much as you can. Fine, granted. You can do all the tactics. Fine, granted. But if the player's physiological abilities is not up to par, if the player doesn't have the required ability to be able to carry out some of the things you want him to do, I'm sorry, certain players just are not meant for certain teams. It is what it is.
Hey, listen, you've just touched on it. That's so true. I've always said locker rooms need to look after themselves. And, it's why I've always said this, and I really believe this. People always say, if you're in a better team, so like a Messi or an Henry back then or Lampard at Chelsea, people always say it's easier at the big clubs. And I say, listen, I played it as a junior at Watford, but before that I was at Tottenham in the academy there. It was much harder at Tottenham because when you're at the elite level, right, special is the floor. So if you're special at Man United under Fergie, special with Henry and the boys around, that's expected. So it's much harder to exist in that environment because Patrick Vieira is not tolerating a 7 out of 10 performance. Whereas if you were at Tottenham or you were at the lower clubs, if you're at Tottenham, even today, you see how it's going, it's almost, it's okay. I think it was the clash, Mourinho and Tottenham, is that a 7 out of 10, everybody thinks, oh, you're incredible. Dele Alli, you saw why he ran with Mourinho. Because Mourinho doesn't care about an 8 out of 10 performance. At the top end, when you're at the very top end, it is the most impossible level to live at. And people just presume that because the players are better, you're playing with better players, it's easier. I say it's more difficult because talented people are one thing, Tade, you know this, demanding.
I agree with you. Look at Dembele in Barcelona.
That's what I said.
That's a prime example.
Well said.
That's a prime example. Look, and people need to understand something as well. Many English players not many of them make it in Spanish league, for instance.
True.
Why? The question is why? It's simply because, and this is just what I believe, the work ethics required in training, within the team is totally different. Look at many of the players, the likes of Sanchez, the likes of Ronaldo, players that have come into this league. You can see there is a difference. There is a big look at what's his name, Fernandes, that plays for Man United.
Bruno,
right
yeah.
now. There is a big Bruno Fernandes. There is a big difference in how they carry out their duties, the diligence, the self-reflection. It is not enough to stop running. They keep doing it. There is certain things, and it's all about probably the upbringing, probably because I don't know, maybe most of them came up from poor backgrounds and all that. But the point of the whole matter is the work ethics is different. The expectation level in training is different.
Yeah.
And that's quite important.
I agree.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that, really.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. Locker rooms must look after themselves. For those of us that played football, listen, Pep has said this beautifully. He says, my job is to get the ball to the final third. The rest, so, and he says, I don't know if you've seen the great Amazon series where he goes, guys, I'm nothing without you. He is nothing without the players. So
I haven't watched it.
Oh, get yourself Amazon, by the way. It's the first, I forget what it was called. Oh, Ben Kingsley, by the way. I don't know if you know who that is. Famous, the famous British actor. He does the voiceover. Oh, get out of here. The greatest series I've ever seen.
No, I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, you got to see it. Ben Kingsley.
He's just not entirely sure because it's a North London rival.
Yeah, it is a North. Let me talk to you about this. Let's talk about this. We got, and by the way, some great points there. I'd like you to, obviously, let's move forward. We're living in a Mikel Arteta world. And for me, I've always said to people the following, is I don't care how talented you are in life. I do not care. You can be the smartest. You can come from Stanford, Oxford, Harvard. I don't care how talented you are. And I listen, Tade, you're not going to believe this, but there's a few people in my life now, some of my elders think it's a good idea for kids to come to me for career advice. So, hey, who knows where this country's going?
That is a horrible idea.
That is not anyway, that's what's happening. I'm just telling you, this country is on shaky ground. People are coming to me for advice. But I say to young people all the time, if you are going to a job, a company, whatever it may be, the first thing you must look for is stability. I don't care how smart you think you are, how clever you think you are, how much. And as young people, we think we're bulletproof. I say, look for one thing. Don't worry. Young people want to express themselves and I want work-life balance and all this nonsense they read on Instagram. I say to you, find stability. And because I don't care how talented you are, you will not overcome chaos. If an institution is chaotic, I don't care how talented somebody is. They will not overcome it. And that is to say, what are your thoughts on the way Mikel Arteta has been brought into a system? And because he got brought in and my opinion is he got brought in the middle of the Ozil mess, right? And obviously that set the tone. And then it was what it was with Xhaka. How do you feel about Arteta's current situation? And do you think he's the right man? I'd love to know whether you think, is he being given a fair shake? And do you think he's the right man long term?
It's difficult to say whether he's the right man long term, right? However, I've gotten a lot of stick for sticking up to Arteta, and the simple reason is because you said something about being brought into a situation whereby we're not stable, with the Ozil situation, with everything going on in the club.
Yeah,
the club was in a state whereby the culture of the club was lost in transition. It was lost. We don't even know where we are as a club anymore. It's almost like the players were doing whatever they wanted to do. I heard Emery saying something about, and I was hearing from someone that kind of gets a sort of inside information about what's happening in the club, whereby he said sometimes Ozil turns up late for training, and it was quite difficult for him. Yeah, it was. For me, the job was so hard for Emery. The decisions were being taken out of Emery's hands. Transfers were being done on his behalf. The likes of Iwobi, didn't even know it was going to be going to Everton. When they got the money, it was never Emery's call. Emery was always playing Iwobi. So why would he just set him all of a sudden? It made absolutely no sense. And I actually got that information by myself. I got it from someone that deals closely with Iwobi. I'm not going to mention names here.
Sources.
That Iwobi didn't know about that.
Yes,
sources. Let's just stick it to sources,
credible
right?
Sources. That's what we say.
Credible sources. Yes, I got it from credible sources. And the truth about the matter is he didn't know. And Emery has come out to say that Pepe was never his signing. He wanted to go for Zaha. So now you're looking at a club that was already in a chaotic situation. Unfortunately, you've brought this man who is inexperienced into the situation, right? And the only reason they've brought this man who is inexperienced is for one reason: money. Because they know for a mere fact that the likes of Allegri, the likes of Ancelotti will be demanding a lot more. One. Two, he's probably going to be demanding some certain things. Look at what he's done in Everton. He's probably had the convention list. I want to bring Decoru. I want to bring Allen. I want to bring Rodriguez. And the owner of the club, who was never given a chance in Arsenal, Usmanov, he's not doing what he wants to do in Everton. So you look at all these things as a whole, right? Arteta has been put in a very difficult situation. Do I think he needs to be given time? I think it needs to be given time simply because I believe Arsenal is a rebuilding process right now. That is if the owners are serious about what they want to do. Rome was not built in a day. It's not going to make things happen just like that, especially with the crop of players we have. A lot of players need to leave this football club. A lot of them. You're seeing the likes of Bellerin, for instance, Chambers. These players, they need to leave the football club. Even Xhaka, if he's not careful, right now is kind of the best among the bad bunch in that defensive midfield. Best among the yeah, he is.
Yeah, no, fair.
Let's be honest. He's performing better. He's performing better. How long is time? Listen, with how bad this club has been run, and I've been saying with how bad this club has been run, you need like 3 years. 3 years, and that is if the owners are ready. It could be 3 years if they continue with the gradual process. It could be 1 year if they decide to go Sheikh style or Abramovich style.
Yeah,
depending on them. So get players.
3 more years, guaranteed. Like Arteta needs 3 more years from
trust
now.
Me,
that would be
trust
5 years.
me. 3 years in the sense that if they continue with the way they're running the club, it's gonna take time. If they decide to go the Sheikh Mansour's style or Abramovich style, it could take just 1 year. All they need is to buy players. Buy players.
How would you feel?
Trust me.
How would you feel if your club turned into the next Man City, buying your success?
I don't care. All I want is success.
Hey, that's business, baby. That's business, baby. Hey, my mother always said, in fact, a mentor of mine, she always says to me, you have to do business the way business is being done. So that's business, baby. Charge it to the game. Hey, Tade, charge it to the game.
I must confess, right? That's just the fan talking in me.
Yeah.
Because that's the fan talking in me. Because I've said this before. My definition of fans are win at all cost.
Absolutely.
Many fans don't consider everything good. They don't consider the balance sheet. They don't consider if you're running a debt, like you see Real Madrid are in almost 900 million. That's the fan talking. If you ask me now to put my sort of investor hat on and try and balance it out, we need to be careful how we throw away money, because you can be in a danger of running bankrupt.
You're onto a good point. Is that so we'll obviously so the Arteta thing. So you're saying another 3 years, give him some money. If you go the Abramovich model, maybe you shorten, like you saw with Lampard. Is
1 year.
The one thing that spending money does is it shortens that window. By the way, your learning curve is shortened. So Arteta, 3 years.
Yeah.
If we go with the Arsenal model, another year and a half maybe. If we go the Abramovich and you give him 300 million, huh?
Yeah, if we go the Abramovich way, trust me, in 1 year we should be getting back into the Champions League.
Oh, okay.
We should be getting, because the truth about the matter. Yeah.
No, go ahead. I like what you're saying.
Yeah, because the truth about the matter is, in as much as because on my channel I get a lot of stick, I get a lot of people coming at me, I get a lot of insults, abuse, and all whatnot, all because I'm sticking for Arteta. And it's the simple reason I'm sticking for Arteta is because I believe if you bring another manager into this club and we have these players, we're gonna be saying the same thing the following year, and we're gonna be, having a go at each other. We're gonna be arguing. We've been having these arguments since Arsene Wenger. I had this same argument with Emery. I am tired of having these arguments with different people. It's almost like I am now a broken record. I'm a looped video that is just on repeat, saying the same thing.
I hear you. Hey, that's
so. The only way is to spend the money and buy the right players, and the recruitment has to be right. The recruitment has to be right. Let's not forget, Swev Mislantat came from Dortmund. He left the club. He left the club because he was not happy about the way things were done.
Yeah.
And what he was promised, he wasn't given. So people need to understand there's a lot of things going in the background of that club. A lot of people have come to me and said an experienced manager will do better. Probably an experienced manager will do better. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, do you think an experienced manager will come to Arsenal in the first place when his demands are not met?
No chance. Because, experience gives wisdom. If you're wise, right? Listen, my gospel is this. People are who they are. And Arsenal is a living, breathing thing. If I'm Carlo Ancelotti and I look at Arsenal right now, I'll go, okay, you keep telling me all of this other stuff. But I want to see, in life, you are the things you do, not the things you say. When I see the record signing is Pepe, and then I see the problem before that was Ozil, and then I see the amount of money you spent on Granit Xhaka, there's a pattern here. You're not making good decisions. And if your core function, you got to keep the main thing in life. If your core function is to build a football club, and I see a concatenation of bad decisions in terms of the football club, there's no way I'm coming there. Like you're saying, there is no way I'm coming near Arsenal because I would imagine Carlo Ancelotti is an enemy to chaos. He's worked with Kaká. He's worked with Cafu at AC. So he knows what stability and power and he knows what good looks like. There's Carlo. You're not going to lie to Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, for me, Arteta, it's almost like he feels lucky to be at Arsenal. I think when you talk about a guy like Allegri, you talk about Ancelotti, you're lucky to have me. Those are two different beasts, right? Yeah. So I totally see what you're saying. And I wanted to,
Let me put my battery. My battery's almost dead.
Oh, no, don't let your battery go.
1 sec.
Listen, don't become like Arsenal's dreams.
That's better now.
All right, are we back?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want your battery.
Wow. Give the man a break at least.
So that's what's going to happen. This shows, by the way, Tade, don't feel too bad. James is a Liverpool fan. He's going through some stuff right now as well. So, hey, misery loves company.
Good.
Tade, the point of this whole thing was to not let you find out about that after I had roasted Arsenal. And now you know. And
I was going to find out anyways. Commiserations, Liverpool fans.
Commiserations, he says. Hey, that's right. You are going through some traumas right now.
Going through the most. #trauma.
But Tade, now let's get into, and I just want to say something. I love football. I always tell people I am unashamed at saying this, right? So I'm no kids, cool family. My mom's great, sister's great. But the most important thing in my life is football, right? I have no shame in saying that. It is everything to me. Football is more than just a game to me. And then my question becomes, obviously we've seen what's happened over the last few weeks, last 2 weeks, right? European Super League. So I want to just get into this idea, right, that football for me is more than just football. It is in the fabric of the society globally, the global world. I mean, you're Nigerian. I've been to Nigeria. We think we know. Hey, I've always said there's certain places Jesus is in second place. He's getting the silver medal because football is the Mecca. I go around the world. You go to Nigeria. You come to South Africa. I've never been to Brazil, but I've been to Argentina. Oh, Christ the Redeemer, second to Diego Maradona there. People don't like to hear it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So when you see something like the European Super League, a lot of people made it about the money, but I've given it some thought, and I thought to myself, I don't think it's about the money because fans know business must happen. I think it's almost like you took away something from me that is so meaningful without asking me. It's like that's what actually ripped the fans. I think if the European Super League had just been communicated and told, if they told us 6 months ago, this is happening. Okay, we're aware now. We don't like it. It's like sometimes your wife can say, you're not going drinking with the boys. You don't like it, but when you don't have a hangover on Sunday, you kind of, all right, is if they told us, they took a bit of our soul without asking. And I think it was more of a spiritual thing, almost like, I hate to use this analogy. It may be blasphemous. And listen, I'm not so big on religion, but it's almost like they burnt a religious book, and didn't ask the people, and just they didn't even feel anything about it. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but it's almost like they ripped away a part of the society. Do you think it was that? Because I don't think it's just the money. I don't think it's just the money.
I understand what you're
just
saying.
About money and greed.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think, am I just okay to say maybe that's your own opinion? Because I have a different spin to this.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead. I'd love to hear
it. And I think everyone is going to have a different thing they're looking at. I can only speak for myself. The problem I had with that decision was the lack of competition within it. It is not open. It is a closed shop competition. Yeah. When you make a closed shop competition, it simply means it makes it a lot harder for people like you and I. Say, for instance, you and I decide to form a club today. We're probably going to be starting down the bottom of the football pyramid in England already. Or at what point are we ever going to get to that level when it's a closed shop? It is. Let's think about the structure. They said they have 15 founding members. They only had 12. Rumor has it that not rumor, facts was that they contacted PSG, they contacted Bayern Munich, they contacted Dortmund, they did not join. For whatever reason, we don't know. People are thinking it's a 50+1 rule in Germany. Probably, I don't know. But the point of the whole matter is you have 15 founding members, and then you said you're going to have a sort of qualifying phase for 5 other people who's going to make it 20. We don't know what that is. Now, you've come out and done it secretly. Why is it secretive in the first place? That's probably because they knew there was going to be a backlash. If it was not done that way, they knew people were going to stop it from the onset. Secondly, right, you think about all the nonsense that is said within the press release, where the likes of Perez, the president of Real Madrid, was saying it is going to help football at every level. Can you tell me at what level it is going to help football? They talk about solidarity payments. They never told us how the solidarity payments is going to be shared. Solidarity payments is a payment that is given to teams to actually help them out financially. Say, for instance, in Champions League, you have teams that are maybe play the qualifiers. They are giving solidarity payments, about 7% of the cost as of last year. But you never told us that. You're only saying that 3 billion is going to be going to each and every of the teams, that founding members, not even all the members, founding members of the ESL. And you are saying something like it's also going to. Perez came out and said young people are not in love with football again. That's absolute nonsense. It's ludicrous. It made no sense to me. So for me, my major problem was the ethics and lack of competition behind it. That's the major problem I have, because tomorrow we have to think about the future, right? Imagine tomorrow some sort of big money lands in my lap and I decide to open a football club. Let's think about Gary Neville. Has anyone thought about the reason why Gary Neville was so angry about this? Because he has a club in Salford. He's the co-owner of a club in Salford, and he's thinking about, listen, how can these guys do this? I'm still struggling here with the League 2 solidarity payments I get at, the National League level. I'm still, is it League 2? I think it's in League 2. I'm still suffering with how much I get. And now you've created another level in the pyramid, which maybe in the next 100 years, I'm never going to get to.
Sure.
I think,
Yeah. No, listen,
there are different ways of looking at it at the end of the day.
No, it is, and yours is probably more again to the fabric of the society that the United Kingdom is built on industry, and industry, the very nature of that beast is competition. At least it must feel like I can come in, right? It shouldn't be the American style collegiate level where wherein it's an old boys club and nobody else can come in, and if you are going to come in, you're going to have to break your own back, and by the time you get in, it's 3-4 generations time.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It has to be open competition.
Sure.
To give people the opportunity.
Yeah. No, I hear the competition. Having said that, then now we're in a position, right? I'm hearing Daniel Ek, Henri, Bergkamp, Vieira, whether true or not that Spotify is going to take over at the Emirates, and whether true or not, right? Let's take him by his word. Let's take the offer as serious. I've got a thing in life. Just because I love my mom, it doesn't mean I want my mom to be my accountant. And I've often said, actually, if you love something, you should never be doing it as business. You shouldn't be in charge of it, right? If you love a business, don't be the CEO, don't be the accountant, because that's a terrible thing. What you're going to do even if the books and the stats and the data tell you this thing needs to be shut down, you're going to be chasing bad money with bad money. And Tade, you're a businessman. You know, rule number 1: never chase bad money with bad money, right? So now, for me, I just have this issue: is what is it about these previous invincibles that people think would be a great thing to have in the club? And hey, what do you think of Spotify maybe taking over? Daniel Ek, do you think a fan owning the club would be a good thing?
I feel an individual that loves the club will be a good thing. Because that way, he's a fabric of the football club. You don't want someone that knows nothing about football or doesn't have the love for football to be in charge of your club. You don't. You want someone that wants to win, like Abramovich, to own a football club. That's what I think. In terms of the other legends, I honestly cannot give you any answer about the three of them. I have no idea what they know about ownership. I cannot speak on their behalf. All I can say is Daniel Ek seems like someone that, from what he's saying, he watches Arsenal when he's in meetings, from what we've heard. Sometimes when he's in meetings, he's watching. Yeah. Those are the kind of people you want, because obviously he's just going to be thinking like a fan.
Sure.
Yes, he's going to be thinking about the business aspects. Like I said, there has to be a balance. You don't want to run your club into a debt. Look at Schalke, for instance. Schalke is Schalke in Germany. They are run by the 50+1 rule, right? And it is totally owned by club members. Unfortunately, they don't know anything about business, and they've run the club down now. They're in relegation zone now. They're probably going to get relegated. So there has to be a balance. I'm not saying that we should go for the 50+1 rule. All I'm trying to say is 50+1 rule might stop certain things like this ESL that's erupted, because the owners of the football club has, more than 51% of the club. But 50+1 rule in Germany, what it does is it gives fans 51%, or should I say club members, not fans, club members 51%, and 49% to the commercial owners. So there's a bit of balance, but there has to be that eye for the financial stability. You need to have an expert, someone competent enough to still deal with the financial standing of things.
And your thoughts on, listen, just because you can run a motoring company, it doesn't mean you understand how a bakery would work. I do. The football world is a different business beast. It's not like, because like you said earlier, is Arsenal were doing things at an elite business level. But the problem with football and the way it's going, and by the way, people, I have news for you. Football money is just getting started. People think football, the bubble's going to burst. This thing hasn't even started. China hasn't really got involved. America's barely got involved. Is once those hedge funds start to get involved, they make Kroenke. Kroenke is 9-10 billion, and Abramovich is 30-40 billion. They make that look like chicken feed. Once the Chinese really, they've kind of dabbled in Italy, but I think there'll come a time when that money really comes. When the Premier League gets its own over the top OTT, I think that'll change everything. But my question then, to your point, becomes this, right? Is with the money and the way it's going now, is there a way back? Is there a way for fans to feel like the club is theirs? Or do we just accept that it's going to be next billionaire after next billionaire? I mean, where do you see it going? Do you think it's possible? You said something about limiting the clubs a little bit earlier. Is that possible, or do you think we've gone too far now and it's just going to be 5 billion, 10
everything
billion
is about everything in life is about the legislation, is about what's been set in the law, and I think because of what's happened now, the likes of Boris Johnson in England right here, he's trying to look for new laws that are going to come in place to govern football. I don't know what the details of that is, but I know he's looking into that, and I think they're probably going to be doing this to put a little bit of control so that these guys cannot just do whatever they want. So I would say it's all down to the legislation, really. I mean, I can't say much more about that.
Wow. Listen, great time to be a football fan. And before I let you go, your thoughts on, listen, the Gunners, right? Let's talk heart to heart. I'm a good guy. I've been giving you, some people say I'm a great guy. Some people say I'm the best person they've met. But, I just...
Both of those are false.
I'm just a guy who gets out of bed one foot at a time.
Nobody says those things about you.
It's out there. It's out there. It's let's talk honestly now. This football thing matters. The Arsenal are a real thing. Kroenke Daniel Ek, Henry, whatever, they are not Arsenal. What you care about is Arsenal. Talk to me about the next 12 to 18 months. Realistically, so put your heart aside. What does your mind tell you is going to happen? What am I expecting in the off-season? Is Arteta going to be gone? And will the Gunners be top 6 next season?
These are things I normally don't give answers to. I remember very well Robbie asked me this thing at the beginning of the season, and I told him I wasn't entirely sure. And the simple reason is because I can only speak based on how the club is run right now. I can only speak based on how the club is run right now. I said it before, it's going to take us years to get back to where we belong. But if for some weird reason, some divine intervention descends on the owner's head and then they just decide to, turn things around. And I'm hearing rumors now that, listen, even this year, we're probably going to be recording a loss of 100 million. But I'm also hearing that after the conversation that Josh Kroenke had with the fans, I don't know if you've seen it, but the fans were really brutal towards him. They made a lot of direct statements. They told him they don't trust him and so many things that they told him.
He said, get excited.
That's what he said, and we're not excited, are we? We're right. We're in 10th position or 9th position right now. It's really, what does the word excitement mean? Is it negative or positive? Because I'm thinking sometimes excitement has two meanings. I think maybe he meant you should be excited in negative direction. Because
in an American,
honestly,
sense,
I don't know,
he meant
man.
American excited, which is actually the opposite.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's what.
Right, we are really excited, Josh. We are so excited that we got our placards out and we went around the stadium, about 10,000 of us, with all the flares and everything, shouting that we want you out. Yes, that's how excited we are right now. But listen, in terms of where I see Arsenal in the next 18 months, honestly speaking, I'm going to give you two answers. If it continues with the way it's been run, it's going to take us years and years to get back to where we belong. But if there is a turnaround, probably a new ownership, someone that, outbeats this guy and takes the club out of his hands, or if he has a change of heart and decides to really do the needful, then within 1.5 years or 18 months, like you said, we should be back into the Champions League.
So what are you saying? 300 million? Like, if we're changing our hearts as the Kroenkes, and we want you to get excited in the classic Oxford sense of the meaning, get excited is what? 300 million this transfer window? 200 million?
Unfortunately, with the way football is going right now, we can think about Man City as spending 300 million on just defenders.
Sure.
And it took them how many years to get it right?
Wow, well said.
It took him how many years to get the defense right? He's bought so many. He's bought Skywalker. He's got Cancelo. He's got Ruben Diaz. He's got Zinchenko. He's got Ake. He's got Laporte. Laporte doesn't even make the team anymore these days. He only comes in for. So you can imagine how long this has been chopping and changing. That's just for the defense, right? So let's just say he has a 300 million. Yeah. Sorry.
I say, okay, sorry, you're actually making me think I'm a cheapskate that you're going to need 400 million.
Exactly. So, but it's not going to be done in one window, obviously. It needs to be done in different windows. But then again, what are the fundamental areas we need? The fundamental areas we need to tighten up in Arsenal Football Club right now is the defensive midfield, the attacking midfield, the defense, especially in the left-back position. We still need a big player, someone like a Van Dijk level in the centre-back. We need a right-back ASAP. A very, very good right back, a very good one, or probably two big right backs that can be competing against each other. You can see in Man City has two players in each position, and not just any two players that are wonderful in each position. That is the only way we can get to where we belong. And Pep Guardiola has come out to say it with his own mouth. If people have not seen it, they should go out there and look at the interview. He said that these players, with the kind of players he has right now, that's the reason why he's able to do what he's been able to do. By winning back-to-back titles, doing the treble and all that. It is because of the players. He said it with his own mouth. Yeah. So he knows that you need extra good players to be able to be the best out of the best in this era.
Well said, man. Listen, before I let you go, James has something for you. James, what you got?
I do have one more question. It's serious, but not so serious. So we as football fans, we've all seen the viral clips of AFTV and the Arsenal fans reacting to certain games. Is that a like a build-up for Arsenal fans over many years, or are Arsenal fans just crazy?
That's
is that a build-up of
we're not crazy
frustration, or just you guys are insane?
It's a build-up. It's a build-up. Look, listen. I said it earlier on at the beginning of the show that we've been metal that has been in water for so long, and we've been rusting little by little. Let me use another analogy. It's almost like something that has been waiting to explode.
Yeah.
And it's just been it's been building up. It's been building up. Eventually, the eye gets very red, and he gets very angry, and it's just like it's just like someone has been pissing you up for a very long time, right? And you've been taking it, and you've been taking it little by little, little by little. And it gets to the point you can't take it anymore. So I think that's the situation with Arsenal Football Club right now. We can't take it anymore.
Hey, listen, good question there. Good question by James. Big J journalism there.
What can I say?
Tony, before I let you go, bro, you've been awesome. By the way, we said we were going to talk for 25 minutes, but I hope that you've enjoyed this.
Yes, I have. I have.
Let's talk a little bit about your podcast. Where can guys find it? I mean, tell us all about it, and we'll make sure to put that in the description as well.
Oh yeah, it's Tade Osho Sports. It's basically my name and my surname, Sports, Tade Osho Sports. It's on YouTube, and listen, you can get me on Instagram. It's the same handle, Tade Osho on Twitter, Tade Osho on Instagram. Really, it's the same handle. But if you want to find me on YouTube, it is Tade Osho Sports. To be honest with you, I only just started doing live shows 4 months ago. Really, I just got serious with it now. So I do a lot of my podcasts. I get people on. I usually do post-match analysis as well. I get a lot of people on. And I do shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a really chilled, sometimes it gets really heated. People come in and serious arguments go on there.
Hey, it's football. That's football, baby.
But yeah.
Some people love football more than they love their wives.
Exactly, So, but you can find me on there on Twitter, on Instagram, and mainly on YouTube. It is Tade Osho Sports.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
and
so
you said
that's where you can find
Tuesdays
me.
and Thursdays, huh?
So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a show which I call the Late Night Football Show. It's a chilled session. It's more like music and football. I know it's weird, isn't it? It's more like a show. I do it 8:30 Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. UK time.
Okay, 8:30 UK
yes,
time.
8:30 UK time.
Tade Osho Sports.
So I don't know the conversion to your time. I'm sorry.
Hey, listen here. If people have a cell phone, a smartphone, and they are watching this, figure it out. If you can't figure this out, I need to go and have a chat with your high school teacher to say, in fact, you know what? If you can't figure out how to figure out the time in the UK compared to where you are in the world, what needs to happen is I feel sorry for your parents for sending you to school with bricks and mortar instead of under a tree. If you can't figure that out, I'm sorry. You don't deserve to have good education like most people. Because our parents work hard for this money, so you should be slapped in the face. No, Tade, that is their problem. This young generation that want things on a silver spoon, figure it out. You got a smartphone. Stop going onto porn websites and maybe figure out how to tell the time.
That was a lot to take in. I'm not going to lie to you.
Hey, you can tell, like Tade said, it's been building up,
Tade, I'm so sorry you had to hear that.
It's that pressure that's been building up. 8:30 Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tade Osho Sports. Tade, I hope you've had a good time, dude. I've absolutely loved everything you've had to say. And, dude, I hope you come back because this is actually, this has been awesome and also insightful, really insightful from a Gooner living in the United Kingdom and somebody who clearly loves the sport. Shout out Hey, shout out Kanu, shout out JJ Okocha, Rashidi Yakini. I mean, those greats. Shout out the Super Eagles, dude.
Yep. Shout out to everybody watching out there. If you're from Nigeria, I love you all. And I love everyone watching this stream. And thanks a lot, Bulelo. Thanks a lot, James, for having me.
Can't wait to have you back.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, Tade, can't wait to have you back, my brother. Have a great day.
Very soon.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
cheers.
Very, very
Bye.
cool. Yeah, take it easy. What a cool guy.
What a nice guy.
What a good dude. Hey, that was cool.
Arsenal fans are insane, so I was kind of scared.
Yeah, listen, he's a well put together guy. Huh?
He is.
He's uber well thought through. Just like he knows what he wants to say. That's a cool dude. We will definitely get him back on. By the way,
that was 100% my first ever interview that I did.
That you were in the mix with. Huh?
Yeah.
How do you think you did?
I don't know.
Ugh,
I think I did quite well.
I got some reviews for you. Not good.
There was a lag in the line. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I know exactly which part you're talking about.
Listen,
it's
sorry.
because I jumped in. I didn't. There was a lag on the line.
Bad journalism. Never blame the guests. James, we actually got to be out. Give me some outro music there. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tade Osho.
It was Tade Osho.
Yeah. Tuesdays and Thursdays. He says 8:30 UK time. If you can't figure out the time, hey, I don't know. You're a dum-dum.
It's just an hour, guys.
If you're listening to the show, I know you're going to be a smart person and you'll go and figure out. That was a great interview.
That was awesome.
Definitely have him back. My name is MKT. He's James Illingsley.
That is correct.
Hey, produced at St. Stidians, marinated at AFTA, but perfected at Cliff Central Sport. Good to have you with here, Jimbo, pal.
Are you saying I'm becoming like an all-rounded,
No, I'm not saying that.
I mean, look, you yourself said in the email that I'm the producer. I'm just saying. So...
Oh, no. This is terrible, folks.
Look.
Again, St. Stidians, big ego. AFTA, big ego. I deserve everything. Like titles mean anything. All right. Listen, Tade, love you, brother. Doing great work with AFTV and his own channel, Tade Osho Sports. Go and check that out, guys. Go and support it. Otherwise, James Ellingsley, good to have you in, pal.
Thanks for having me.
My name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. Remember, you can get the podcast, cliffcentral.com, Cliff Central app, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave a comment, rate us, give us a 5-star. We're not greedy, but I mean, we are the best sports show that your friends haven't heard yet. Like, share, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, push the like button. That's the thumbs up, not the thumbs down. And that'll help the podcast and support the pod. Support the pod.
Absolutely.
Hope you're having a great day out there, folks. But for today, MKT, the MKT Show, and I am the hell out of here.